Hi everyone, welcome. Thank you so much for clicking on my channel. My name is Maria. I am a stay-at-home mom of 4 kiddos, ages 13, 12, 9, and 6. And today is one of those days where I need to get down and dirty in this kitchen. We had a lot going on, as always. I feel like I say that in every video now. I need to stop saying that. Always have a lot going on. Our kitchen was definitely suffering. The fridge mainly was the biggest concern. I had not done a really big kitchen fridge clean out in quite a while. I like to say I like to do it once a week, but that never happens. I'm actually surprised if it gets done once a month. So I'm just cleaning out the sink here with some leftover dishes that I had this morning and making room for the shelves to come out of the refrigerator for me to clean. When I deep clean the fridge, I just always find it easiest and most efficient if I actually take the shelves out of the fridge and wash them with hot soapy water. Otherwise, to maintain, of course, I'll just wipe it down and if there's any spills or something like that. But when it's this bad, and you'll see when I pull them out, then everything is just sticky and stuck on, it's easiest and best to just take them out. So we have some rotting bananas. We have just some food that needs to be definitely tossed. Some things need to be arranged. Some veggies and fruit that need to be looked at. So that's what we're starting off with here today. If anything, I hope this gives you some motivation to get up, tackle something in your kitchen, possibly the refrigerator. This is always a big one for me. It always seems like it's a task, especially today. I also do my freezer. So this can take a couple of hours, honestly. It's a lot to be taking all the shelves out, bringing them to the sink, and when it's this bad though, it's needed, especially when the shelves are this dirty and scummy and sticky. So it's definitely a lot of back and forth, but how I like to do it, and I find it the most efficient way without completely destroying my kitchen in the process, or should I say messing up my kitchen and making it feel, cluttered, is to do shelf by shelf. So I'll start with the bottom shelf, which is typically where I keep my liquids, milk, juice, that sort of thing. And I will take it out, clean that shelf, put the shelf back in, and then put everything back on that shelf that I know is going to stay there. And that just keeps the kitchen from, the counters from getting completely taken over with stuff in the refrigerator. And it just helps me to see what I have versus what I need to get rid of. So we're just going to start that here by cleaning and getting back in our first shelf. A lot of the times the things in these drawers just get away from me. I don't know if it's because I don't see them regularly, but the fruits and vegetables, sometimes I have to get rid of a few things that get a little gnarly in there. But not too much this day. Just got some lettuce that went bad, and I think our bread drawer was pretty good too, so that's always a plus. So just getting the milks and everything back in here now. Now we have, when we redid our laundry room, we purposely put a refrigerator in there just for our drinks, because I always found that I was having a problem storing our cans and our bottles and that sort of thing. I was keeping a lot in the garage, but our garage is not very organized or convenient to keep those kinds of things in. So when we redid the laundry room, one of the best things we did was put a fridge in. It's a side-by-side as well, but we put a fridge and freezer in there. So that's why we don't keep many drinks in this fridge. Really, it's just for milk and juices and that sort of thing that I use on a daily basis. So we're going to keep on scrubbing and work our way up to the top of the refrigerator. I was showing you that calzone purposely because I get those from Aldi. That's a buffalo chicken one, and my son, who can be very picky, loves those calzones, and they're super easy to pop in the air fryer. He can do it when he gets home. It makes a really great afternoon uh, snack for when he gets home from school and he's starving because he has such an early lunch. So thought those were really good find, and they come in a bunch of different varieties. Just a plain cheese, and I'm pretty sure there's a pepperoni and all that too. And here's the can of pumpkin puree that had seen better days, and the Cool Whip. Cool Whip never stays. I feel like if you open that and you don't eat that definitely within a week, but even within a few days, I don't know what it is about Cool Whip. It just does not stay good. And I know that you're supposed to keep it in the freezer if you're not, you haven't opened it yet, or if you opened it and you know you're not going to use it, you just pop it in the freezer. But anyway, Cool Whip is not a thing that usually stays good in our refrigerator once it's open. And obviously, I was not using enough pumpkin puree, which I find very odd because I feel like that's all I've been making lately is pumpkin. So getting the final shelf put back in, or that might, yeah, I think it is the final shelf, unless I didn't do the shelf underneath it yet. So I'm not sure. I actually completely forget whether or not I've just seen myself wash that shelf. So just reloading the eggs here, getting that back up there. I usually buy eggs by the 5 dozen containers at the big box store. So I keep the big, huge thing of eggs in the other fridge in the laundry room, and then I will restock in here as we need. And now I'm going through our door. Our fridge kind of has a fridge door where you only need to open the front if you want to access these things here. This is like where I keep our condiments and our waters for the kids, creamers, lemon juice, cheese, that sort of thing. So it wasn't terrible in here, but I just wanted to go through some things and see some dates, get rid of anything that might be expired, and go through this door. The ones on this door here too sometimes get, when the kids leave things on there that don't have a lid or anything like that, just from the opening and the shutting, a lot of times it can spill over. So just getting that cleaned up, and then we're going to go ahead and get those shelves put back in. This is the part of the fridge I usually forget about cleaning. It's this little area down here where I keep my butter and keep some ketchup and barbecue sauce and chicken broth and stuff like that. So just getting this final area of the fridge taken care of, wiping down the doors. Now, cleaning the fridge is definitely not my favorite thing, but it is something that I need to do for my sanity, because if I can see it getting dirtier and dirtier and dirtier, it's just something that bothers me. It's, we're in the fridge multiple times a day. I'm in the fridge multiple times a day. And if I see, and I'm not saying I don't let it go sometimes, of course I do, but it's something that bothers me. So if it's really getting bad, I have to take the time to do this and really give it a good clean out, or else it's just going to agitate me, which is usually what happens with most things throughout the home. So now the freezer is something I really rarely do. But it's definitely, I noticed the kids from taking the ice cream out, and my son likes to take the lid off in the freezer before he takes the ice cream out. So he always tracks chocolate on the walls of the freezer, and the shelves in here were looking real real bad. So I was just taking my time to do this. And like I said, I don't typically clean out my freezer when I'm doing my fridge unless it's looking pretty shabby. So I didn't have too much in there at this point. It's pretty cleaned out. So I had done a clean out a while ago just of things that had been past its time and couldn't really be used anymore, which mostly I keep down here in these drawers, any meats or stuff like that that I am freezing for future dinners. So just getting the freezer cleaned out, felt really good to know that I did this, and it just makes the week start off so much nicer knowing I have a nice clean fridge. And then in about a week I'll probably have to do it all over again. But that's life, isn't it? And now we have my stinky bananas so this is a do as I say, not as I do moment, because I usually do not freeze my bananas like this. I do not usually jam them all in a Ziploc bag and then put them in the freezer. I usually individually freeze them on a, like just a tray, and then take them out once they're frozen and then put them in a baggie. So that way when you go to take one individual banana out, they're not all like one huge ice block of banana. So that's exactly what happened with this. I don't know what I was thinking. I think I was thinking I would be able to break them apart, but it'd been so long since I've made this mistake that I forgot that it's literally impossible, because the banana kind of freezes all together and mushes all together and she becomes one big blob. So don't do that. Don't do what I just did. Just a PSA. Now that the inside of the fridge and freezer are good to go, we are just wiping down the outside, which is inevitably filled with fingerprints upon fingerprints, but that's just the way it goes. And this is another thing in my home that looks good for a hot second, and then 5 seconds later it is all filled up again. But it is nice to give it a good wipe down every now and then and enjoy it for the few seconds that it may last. It's so nice to look at a nice clean refrigerator. So good to see it nice and clean. So worth the hour that it took for me to do. This is another one of those moments, do as I say, not as I do. I might have a few of those coming up in this video, but this is my steam shot. I love this thing. I rarely take it out, but when I do take it out, I always think to myself, why don't I use this more often? But I didn't use the funnel to fill it up. I just went by my own judgment and filled it up, and I overfilled it. So that's why it was leaking a ton of water at the beginning, because I way overfilled it. So I am just using this under our fridge in this little kind of door jamb here that, where the fridge door opens and closes. It just gets so nasty, so disgusting. And under the fridge, this fridge, along with my oven and the fridge in my laundry room, can definitely use a pull out. For sure, it can use a pull out. The floor underneath it can use a good scrubbing. I can't even imagine what it looks like under there. But that is for another day. That is when I have to get my husband involved. So right now I'm just taking this steamer, and I don't remember if I've seen this get recalled. I want to say that I did, but I might be making that up. So please don't take my word for it. I think people were burning themselves, which I can totally see that happening. It's a steamer. It's a handheld steamer. And I've definitely burnt my hand before doing silly things like trying to take the nozzle off while it was hot and that sort of thing. But when used correctly and very cautiously, this thing is awesome. It'll get any gunk off of any surface. I've actually have tried to use it on my cabinet doors, and it's so powerful that it actually was taking the finish off of the doors. So don't do that. But on the side of the cabinet there, it was, I don't know if it's a different kind of treated wood or whatever, but I was able to do it without taking off any of the finish. And now I'm just doing these stools that are another thing that inevitably get destroyed. The kids sit here and eat a ton, and they don't know what they do. I feel like they have holes in their chins, and it just literally drips down the entire length of the chair. So this is one of those things where I was not planning on doing this, but when I start one area, I'll go to another area, then go to another area. And then a task of doing one thing turns into much more than that. So I did end though there with those stools and got those cleaned up. And now we are heading over to my stovetop. This has definitely seen way better days. I've let this go a little bit far. Definitely not the worst it's ever been, but needs a pretty good scrubbing. And it's funny because when things in my home start getting dirty, I'll be like, okay, I'm going to clean that. Okay, I'm going to get to that tomorrow. Okay, and then I'll almost be a little neglectful. And when I say neglectful, I almost mean like, I'll almost be like, I'll make dinner and I say, okay, well, I'm not going to clean it right now because I know I'm going to really give it a good deep clean tomorrow. But the problem is 9 out of 10 times, I don't get to do that because life takes you in other directions and your priority that day is not to clean your stovetop. So I have to stop doing that because I do that a lot where I'll go, okay, I'm going to deep clean this tomorrow so I don't have to really clean it today. And then it just winds up getting worse and worse and worse to the point where it's like really gross. So that's kind of where we're at right now, although it's been worse. So since I already had this guy out, I'm using it. I don't usually typically ever use this on my stovetop, but I thought I would let it help me out today. Let it help me today, I should say. Do a little bit more of the elbow work so that I don't have to do as much scrubbing. And it definitely did help get into all those little nooks and crannies of the stove. And then I just had to go back over it with the sponge and then wipe it completely clean. And this is another thing that I don't love cleaning my stovetop or my oven for that matter. But once it's done, I'm so happy that I took the time to do it. And this thing really worked great on the grates. I've never actually used this on these before, but I said, since I have it out, let me try it. And it really did work great because sometimes these grates can really get some stuck on, burnt, just stuff on it. And this really did help to get it off. So I did it in the sink, so that way everything can kind of fall down without me having to worry about wiping anything up. And it did work nicely. And I just had to be careful because it definitely is hot, hence a steam cleaner. So just please be careful if you do own one and use it. But it definitely does the job. And I am impressed with it every time I remember to take it out. Okay, now we are on to the microwave. It was also needed a little love. So scrubbing the inside, actually the inside wasn't terrible. Ever since I've been using that top that goes over the plates, it's really been saving me from having to get in here and scrub as much. So that's definitely been a plus, and it's so easy to clean that particular piece. You just clean it right in the sink and pop it right back in the microwave. So that's been working out really great and sticks right up to the top of your microwave. So super convenient and easy. So it wasn't really much to do here. just getting that nice and shiny, and then just going to give the outside of the microwave a wipe down too. Normally when I do the stovetop, I like to do the microwave as well. Just feels like it's just a 2-in-1, a little twofer, if I do say. So that was really good. Now, today I wasn't taking any of the stuff off the counters and doing that type of a cleaning in here, but I did just want to get any crumbs or, just anything off the counters. I hadn't wiped it down yet that day, so just wanted to go ahead and do that. I had some things piling up here in our little desk area that I still need to find a stool for. I really don't want to put a chair with a back here because I don't want it to take up space, but I want to find something that can easily slip underneath the 2 drawers that we have there. I just can't find anything that's the right sort of height. So I see such cute things in TJ Maxx all the time, but they're just a little too tall. So anyway, still on the lookout for something to put there. Now we're just going to remove everything off of my kitchen table. It definitely needed to be decrumbed and wiped down. Now, it's funny, in one of my recent, or I don't know, maybe not recent, but in one of my videos, I had somebody comment, which I am so excited for anybody to comment. I truly appreciate any conversation that you bring to my channel, because that's part of the reason why I started this in the first place. I'm super excited to be able to meet and speak with all of you, really. But I did have somebody go to some effects, ew, you have plastic on your table. And you're right. You're 100% right. I do have plastic on my table. So I recently redid the top of this table. This table is over 20 years old, and I took it down to the bare wood, and I just absolutely love the color. And I did put a finish on it, put quite a few coats of a finish on it. But if my kids, I'm so afraid that if something spills that's of color, so juice or wine or, pretty much anything, even a strawberry juice or whatever gets onto it, I'm just afraid that it's going to seep into the wood. So we've had spills. As you can see, I don't have it's not even the right, measurement. Like, it's definitely, you can see there's a lip between the edge of the plastic and the end of the table. But this was just supposed to be a temporary solution to the problem. I really don't want to get a glass top. I don't love the look of them, and I don't love the price of them, but I really do just want to put it a couple more coats of a heavier dutier, it's not a word, I just made it a word, finish on the top of this. I just have not had the time to do it, and to be honest with you, I guess I don't mind the look of the plastic as much as I thought I did when I first put it on, because it really hasn't been bothering me enough to make sure that I make it a priority to refinish, or should I say add finish to the top of the table. So anyway, all of that to say, to each his own. Even if I did like the plastic on my table, I am going to rock that plastic, because you know what? It's my house and my rules, right? You do in your home and I'll do in my home, right? And to each his own, of course. So I knew I wanted to give the floor a good steam cleaning. It needed it badly. So when I do this, I really like to get down and I like to take to the edge of all around my floors, the end of the bottom of the cabinets, I should say, because I feel like the vacuum never really quite picks up everything that is under there. Even when I take out the hose part and kind of get in there, I don't know, I just feel like there's always remnants living under there that just does not want to come up unless I get down there with a wet paper towel or microfiber towel, whatever it is, and wipe it up. So I knew I wanted to give the floor a good scrubbing this day, so I went around in all the little crevices where the cabinets meet the floor, and I just gave it a good wipe down before I go ahead and vacuum and then steam clean the floors to just get them extra shiny and clean. And before I do that, Ellie's bowls definitely needed a good wipe down. I try to do this pretty regularly. This thing is great. I forget what it's called. I'm hoping that I show you the front of it. Eater feeder, dogger, neater feeder. Sally sells, she sells by the seashore. Something like that. Neater feeder. Oh my God, I'm so off. When I get home, I'm going to look at it. See how off I am. Anyway, that thing's great. It prevents her from dripping the water on the floor. It's awesome, but it does need to get cleaned out every now and then because the water will get stuck on the in between reservoir, and sometimes it gets a little nasty in there. So we gave Ellie's water and food dishes some love. Now I'm showing you the contents of my vacuum, and I love this vacuum, and that's mostly the reason why, because it sucks up everything, which is good and bad because I don't know why we live in such filth, but apparently we do. So just getting all the crumbs and everything vacuumed up off the floor before I go back at it with our steam cleaner, which is the only way I clean my floors. I feel like it's just the best way. Yes, I have wood floors. No, I don't really care about the steam cleaner on them. I don't put it on the highest steam. I do it midway, and it really never seems to affect my floors. And honestly, half the floors in my house need to be refinished anyway, and that's a plan for the future. So I don't really mind putting steam on them, although I do know that a lot of people with wood floors, real wood floors, don't like to steam clean them with that. But I do. I feel like it's the most effective and quickest way of washing my floors, and I love the satisfaction of seeing all the nastiness on the pad when I am finished. And I know the anticipation of what's on the bottom of this pad is it's just killing you. You cannot wait for me to show you this. And this is just from my kitchen floor. So yeah, pretty bad, pretty satisfying to see all of that get picked up. And putting Ellie's dog dish back down, getting her food back in, fresh water in her nice clean water dish down. And she is, what does that say? I think I need glasses. I'm pretty sure, neater feeder, right? Yes, was I right? Oh gosh, my memory. I hope I'm right, because otherwise it's going to be real funny. We had my daughter's birthday party a few days before this, so we still had some remnants of that. So I like to keep my bags, and I like to keep my tissue paper. Call it what you may, but we go through bags, especially birthday gift bags, and tissue paper like it's nobody's business. So I like to reuse when I can. So I told my daughter, just leave everything here, take out all your presents, put them in your room, get them organized and put away, and I will do the rest with these bags. I feel like I go through tissue paper like crazy with the amount of birthday parties that the kiddos get to go to, and we have to bring presents, and it's just nice to be able to reuse some of these gift bags, and besides the fact that some of them are super cute. So I wasn't really planning on doing too much in the family room this day, but since I had the vacuum out and the steam mop out, I wanted to give in here a quick vacuuming as well as a quick floor washing as well. And this is another really high traffic area in our home because we use that door right there that's open right by where I'm cleaning the floor is our laundry room, and that is where we enter and exit the house. So it's just a really high traffic area. It gets super dirty. I am a no-shoe house, but that is not always. My kids are very good about it. My husband's very good about it. Sometimes people that we, that don't come over all the time are not so good about it, and that's okay. So this is just an area that really gets hit hard and is always dirty. And when Ellie comes in and out from outside, you know how it goes. The floors just get gross. So I wanted to just go ahead and clean up in here real quick, get the floors nice and shiny, And that's my favorite thing. When like I know the floors are clean, it makes everything else seem so much better. Even if I haven't dusted or taken stuff off the, the shelves and that kind of thing. It's just knowing that the floors are clean just makes me happy. Going down the hallway here a little bit, just while I had it out. Now, these are our older floors. It's the same type of floor in our kitchen and our family room, but these are the original to the house. We had some water damage, so we had some floors replaced over time. So this is both sides. So the floor in here is looking real bad, but like I said, right now in the season of life that we're in, we are not getting new floors. It's just not even on our brains. So this is one of my favorite things that I have here. It's a little pumpkin wax melt that I bought from Walmart, and I love to switch them out seasonally here. I used to have one that had kind of an open wax top, so meaning there was nothing covering where the wax went, and that didn't do well here because people would knock into it or the kids would knock into it and it would spill all over. But I'm able to put this here because it's enclosed and I've had no issues. And this cinnamon, I think it's spicy cinnamon, is also from Walmart, and it just smells so good. My daughter came down one day and said, "Mommy, it smells like fall in here." And I mean, that was like, she could have told me I looked like beautiful. Like that was right up there with like top compliment ever, was that the house smelled like fall. I was like, yes, score. Everything else can fall into place now. So just turning all my lights on here. I love to put these on at night. Just makes the house super warm and cozy. Love when we walk in and everything is on and lit and there's a nice ambiance and I can try to dream of peace and quiet and tranquility. But thank you so much for hanging with me today. I hope if from nothing else you've gotten from this video, you've got a little bit of laughter, a little smile on your face, and some motivation to keep you going. See you in the next one, guys. Bye.